Welcome class. This time we have to talk about a tough question. What's a tough question? It's a short interrogative phrase which goes at the end of a sentence. And we always use it to confirm information we're not sure or when we know and we want the other person to agree with us, right? So, how do we make this? Using a sentence and the tag question goes after the comma. But we have to be careful because we have to watch carefully the verb we use in the sentence. I want you to know that in tag questions, we have a structure. It's a sentence and the tag question. Okay? This is the structure. And this is separated by a comma. Well, when the sentence is affirmative, as you see in the first example, the tag question must be negative. So, as you see, the verb we have in the first example is be, and it's in affirmative way. The tag question has to be used with the subject and the verb be, but in the tag question we never use people's names. We have to use the pronouns, okay? So we have to replace Claire with its pronoun. So in this case we have Claire is beautiful, and the verb be goes here first in a negative way, isn't, and Claire is going to be changed with the pronoun. Isn't she? Right? This is the correct way to express a tag question. If the sentence is positive, the tag question must be negative, right? Or upside down, as you're gonna see in the following sentences. In the third one, maybe. Now, in the second example, my classmates always work. We have the subject. The subject is my classmates. This is a plural noun. And the verb this time is work. Okay? But now, we have to follow the same structure. First of all, we have to make it with a verb we have, but I want you to remember that when a sentence has only one verb that is not be, as in the first example, this is a different one, it's work. This time we have to use the auxiliary verbs do or does depending on the subject. But this time classmates is a plural noun, as if it were they. So we have to use, this is positive, we have to use the negative form, don't they. Do, because the noun is plural and it is replaced by the pronoun they, right? So the sentence is positive, the tag question must be negative. That's why it is don't they. In the third example, we have the past tense. Ted didn't paint. This is the subject, and this is the verb. As you see, this is easier because we already have the auxiliary verb we need to use in the tag question, because this time the sentence is negative. In the first sentence, it was positive. The second one was positive too, right? But the third one is negative. That's why we have to switch the sense of the sentence. If this is negative, we have to use it in an affirmative way. So we have to use only the auxiliary verb in an affirmative way, did, and the person, which is dead, in this case, we have to use the pronoun he. Ted didn't paint the house. Did he? And in the last one, we have the modal auxiliary will and the base form of the action, right? It's a model of deduction. So this time we have two verbs, a modal verb and the action, the main action, right? So to make the tag question, we have to use the first one. Obviously, it's the modal verb. And if this is positive, as you see in the sentence, we need a negative form in the tag question. So the negative form has to be want, which is the negative form contracted of will. And the pronoun is she, and this is the way. Okay? Well, summarizing, as you see in the first example, we have verb be. When the verb in the sentence is be, we have to use be in the tag question. It's gonna be the same one, right? Depending on the tense also, because sometimes we use present tense or simple past. It depends on the sentence, okay? Remember that. But in the second one, we have other verb different from be, right? So, this is the way. The first category is with be. The second one with other verb, but it's only one verb in the sentence, okay? Only one, which is not be. In that case, we have to use the auxiliary verbs do, does, or did, if it were simple past, okay? In the third one, it's the same one, but in the past tense. Only one verb, but this time it's negative, right? We have to keep it the same way, but this is negative and the positive form, okay? And the last one, this is the modal verb. This time we have two verbs in the sentence, the modal verb and the main action. The one we use to make the tag question has to be the first one, okay? It's the modal verb this time, will, or should, or can, could, may or might, must also, right? Or in present perfect tense or past perfect, we use have or has as an auxiliary verb. But this time we have to use the first one, right? In this case we have two verbs, and we use the first to make the tag question. Okay, so these are the examples. Okay, so I think it's mainly what you have to do. Watch carefully the verb you have in the sentence. Remember, if the sentence is positive, the tag question is negative. Or if the sentence is negative, the tag question is positive. Well, watch carefully. Also, see the PowerPoint presentation you have to confirm all this information, and also see more examples. Okay? Well, hope you do well.